Hi Team Value, JJ here again. Welcome. Well, we have some Palantir news today. Big news supposedly. Let's take a look at what it is and I'll react to it and see if it's a big deal or not a big deal. Let's get into it.
Palantir, our very own Morgan Brennan joins us with more on this front. Morgan, good morning.
Good morning. It's good to be here on set with you guys. Well, this is a high-profile win for Palantir. The defense tech startup awarded the U.S. Army's Titan program. This was picked over an industry stalwart, RTX, marking the first time a software company becomes a prime contractor of a big hardware program. Titan, or Tactical Intelligence Targeting Access Node. This is a mobile ground station that accesses data from terrestrial and space sensors. It uses AI to help provide more precise targeting for long-range precision strikes and battlefield planning. Palantir, as Palantir puts it, it's deploying the Army's, quote, first AI-defined vehicle. First contract, $178 million to develop and deliver 10 prototypes, working with subcontractors that include Northrop Grumman, L3 Harris, and startup Anduril Industries. It's not the biggest ticket program, but it is significant. The engineering and manufacturing development phase estimated to be about $400 million. Now, this is big for Palantir, though. This represents the company's fourth largest contract by annual revenue run rate. That's per a recent William Blair note.
Okay, so it's quite a big contract for Palantir. AI on the battlefield, that can be fairly controversial. Talk about that in a little bit. Is this big news for Palantir? It is quite a big contract for them and they beat out a competitor, so good news for the company. Probably good news for their brand in terms of going after commercial contracts, not necessarily just military, going after more and more companies over time, more boring companies, as you would say, but the, big ticket companies, big ticket contracts. They can say they're working with the US military on the battlefield, doing really difficult things. Palantir is really popular on YouTube, by the way. If this is going out to YouTube, there's a lot of investors, a lot of YouTubers talking about Palantir. It's a popular stock, popular company. Let's see what else they've got to say.
And it boosts the government portfolio as growth in Palantir's U.S. commercial business has been surging. Also reflects the role that AI will and already increasingly is playing on the battlefield. And as you can see right there, shares of Palantir moving higher right now in the pre-market, up about 3%.
We'll have a look at the Palantir share price, what it's been doing recently. It's been doing well as other tech stocks have been, and AI related. Palantir is one of the companies, the stocks that's well into AI, and it's becoming more and more well known. And there are controversial aspects to it, especially getting AI involved in the military. That's definitely going to be controversial moving forward, I think, but this is just the start of it.
Dropping an AI box like this on the battlefield means what? You can see where the enemy's moving, or it can predict where the enemy's going to move?
Yeah, so all of that. So it's this whole idea of long-range precision targeting data. So basically being able to pull data from space sensors and terrestrial, air, land, take all that data, basically boil it down, run it through AI models, essentially, I'm assuming, and then be able to take that and have a more precise locator for whatever it is you're looking on the battlefield.
So more precise location for targeting. Of course, it's going to be mistakes and there could be some bad publicity, but Palantir's kind of in the background. It's all very secret. They don't talk about a lot of military stuff.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Or just use a nuke and get rid of everything in the area.
But don't you want the most precise information and targeting data before?
I'm cynical about how scary everything is, and hypersonic weapons that I guess we don't have, and Putin's talking about a nuke on a satellite, and it just.
It is a very from that perspective that you can have a more surgical.
So this is when it gets controversial with AI on the battlefield, of course. There are obviously, the Skynet scenario where, if it's involved in military and AI gets ramped up more and more and we don't actually know what it's doing.
We need to cover all our bases, both the surgical and I guess we need to.
Well, and this is one of those arguments against regulating AI, right? That you can talk about it, you can talk about societal impacts and what this means for the country domestically, but what happens when you do have adversaries like China, like Russia, particularly China, harnessing all this data, not necessarily applying the same ethics to the way they're developing this and weaponizing that software.
The last thing we need to do is use AI for warfare. Would be the other argument. One's offensive, one's defensive, I guess.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting debate, interesting argument going forward. I mean, China and Russia and adversaries to the US are definitely going to be using it. Palantir's are deep into the stuff and working with the military. They said they won't work with China. They're very Western focused, of course. That's important to the company.
The US military and the Pentagon have been very deliberate in terms of how they have been rolling out the guidelines and the ethics around where this gets implemented, how it gets implemented, and what that looks like, for example. And Greg Hayes from RTX has talked about this, and other defense contractors, the fact that there's always some sort of human decision within, a kill chain process. It's not just the AI making all the decisions when lives are at stake.
It doesn't take much of a mistake for it to be a disaster. Is this a risk for Palantir? We don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, they are in the background. And, as they get more and more known, perhaps that's the case about what they're doing here with the military and the contracts, and that could affect their other business. But that's just one risk that Palantir shareholders would have to think about. Now, if you're getting value out of this episode so far, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button to help the almighty algorithm to spread it to more people. Thanks.
Or with the Patriot, that probably make it even better than it is right now, I guess. So, like anything, it can be used for good or evil.
Exactly.
It's not wanting to fall behind in the arms race, though.
Right.
This has been, of course, one of those AI beneficiaries in terms of the stock surge we've seen this year and last.
We can see for the year to date, it's up 43.6%, as many AI-related stocks and companies have been. So that's a really good performance just the year. But we go back a year, it's up 201%. We talk about NVIDIA doing well, but companies like Palantir also doing well. And if we go back 3 years, we can see it's actually down for the 3-year period. If we go back to all since the IPO, we can see that it's up 144.7%. It had a big run out of the gate. We can see there that it went public at a good time. It launched into that emerging tech sort of bubble there, and it went way down into the depths into 2022, as many tech stocks did, going down there to bottom around the end of 2022, and it's had a meteoric rise back up. And here on GuruFocus, we can see the market cap's getting up there. It's $52 billion. I prefer smaller cap stocks myself for more upside. But having said that, can this get 10x from here? Could it be a $500 billion to $1 trillion company? A lot of investors think so, and it does have a big market if it gets into the commercial realm, which it is, and more contracts. Peter Thiel has said on YouTube in his talk, competition is for losers. I think that's still on YouTube. He looks for not being an intense competition, look for a different game, and Palantir has done that, dominating a market and then going out in concentric circles, and they went for those government contracts, and now they're going into commercial contracts. Their gross margin is very good, operating margin 5.39. There's some green there, but the valuation is looking pretty rich at the moment. But the ROCE, the average is about 15 for the S&P 500, so it's a little bit below average according to this, but some of these returns on capital aren't too bad. But look at that, the PE ratio 264, forward PE ratio 75, so it's looking richly priced at the moment. I haven't looked deep into this company. If you're a Palantir shareholder, let me know. What do you think? With all the AI exuberance going on, in the last year or so. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to put a link here to a video that YouTube thinks that you in particular should watch next. So go and see that now if you want to. And thanks to everybody for watching or listening wherever you are doing that. And I'll see you in the next one.